Ciara is here in Studio 57. Good morning to you and welcome, Ciara.
Great morning.
Listen, that video was so hot, I had to go take a shower after looking at that. It is very sexy with a capital S.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And this is what you said about Jackie, that it's the most personal album you've ever done because you wanted people to know the real you. And you really did lay it out there for us.
Yeah, I wanted for people to get to really hear my voice. And after having my child, it kind of allowed me to be in tune with my true feelings and my true thoughts. And I'm just kind of like, I am who I am, take it or leave it. And I just poured all that into the music and allowed myself to just be free in the process. And it was the best thing I could have done. I also learned the value of vulnerability.
Yes.
You know, being vulnerable, you allow yourself to grow. You allow yourself to heal. You learn so many things when you just really just allow yourself to be free and be okay with whatever's wrong, the flaws, and be okay with everything, you know. And so I just kind of allowed myself to be free in the process, and I think it allowed me to make my best work. It really did.
Honest, free, and vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of the things that you were very vulnerable about and candid is about the father of your child. I have to go there for just a second because there are rumors that he was a cheater, pumpkin eater on you. And it led you to write some really very provocative music. And now there's a whole big thing in the news about he's upset because you're dating Russell Wilson. He's okay with that, I guess. But he doesn't like the fact that you've introduced your son to Russell Wilson.
It's been very interesting, you know, to hear what a lot of guys have had to say. And I feel like, in a sense, it's a bit of a double standard, you know, because at one point in time when we were together, I took care of his kids as well at a very young time in our relationship.
Because he has 3 other children, does he
Yes,
not?
he does. He actually has 4. One's adopted. But I really, I was involved very early in the stage of us getting to know each other, and that's been a big conversation. It's kind of like, well, what's the difference here? You know, I think that even for the men that were outspoken, it's like wouldn't you want someone to love on your child or love on the child that, you know, you're speaking about? And more than anything, it is a child we're talking about. And that's the thing that I think people have to think about. It's like, remove the adults from the situation. Like, really, this is my child here, you know, and that's serious, you know.
Does that make you angry when people are just openly judging you, people who don't know you? I mean, that must be so frustrating.
Well, people are going to talk about me. I was built for this. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. People are going to talk about you all the time. Like, that's what comes with it. But when it comes to your child, it's something I don't take lightly, you know. And at the end of the day, my son will be the one that's affected the most out of this, you know. And I think people have to think about that, you know, versus just kind of like shouting out things
And you wouldn't put your son in harm's way?
Absolutely not, you know. And the thing is to put out things, to speak on such a sensitive and real situation when you don't have all the facts is really, that to me is a big part of the frustrating part of it all, because again, it's just like us adults will be fine, but my son has to grow up one day and he has to see, and it's like, to the guys that want to, you know, that have such an opinion, you know your facts. You know, I did reach out to my son's father, you know, for him and Russell to speak, and he didn't want to talk to me, you know, we didn't get to talk, and so that was that. So I don't know what more they would expect from me to do than just to live my life, and that's what I'm doing. And my son is the most important, you know, and the person that loves me.
Ciara, like it says on the Ciara album.
When did you and Russell come together?
We've been together for a good bit. You know, I don't like to really mark the exact date and time.
We like the exact date.
No, I'm not looking for a date.
I am. Charlie's not, I am. But you've been together for a while.
Yes, we've been for more than half a year now.
Why are you looking for a date?
And you've decided to be celibate, which is such a brave and bold step to take.
Were you upset when he announced
challenge.
that, when he said that we're going to be celibate? I'm surprised that you all told us that, because it really is nobody's business. Were you surprised that he told people that?
You know, it was one of those things where it was an organic conversation he was having. I don't think he expected to talk about it either, but I guess he just was speaking the reality of what is really going on. And, you know, it was at church, and I think the cool thing is just that being able to share our journey, you know, with other people like us, and it's a great challenge. I can definitely say that.
Yes,
but it's awesome because we get to learn, we get to really challenge ourselves. We're getting to know each other and really build a foundation. Well, yeah, you know, we are Christians, and we love God and believe in God.
Christians have sex.
Yes, but I was gonna say it's just more so based off of, you know, the love, wanting to love each other, really wanting to know each other, really wanting to build and grow and build a solid foundation, because that part is a cherry on top. You know, I think sometimes that can also cloud your emotions, and you can kind of like not really get to see a person for who they are. So we're challenging ourselves.
Let me end with this, because Charlie would like to know when the celibacy is going to end.
Well,
That and what's good about celibacy.
it's funny 'cause